Have you ever protected your significant other to the point that you became more like a parent than a partner? Stay tuned and learn how a discouraged wife looked for ways to stop micromanaging her husband's ADD and let him take responsibility for his actions. Hi everybody, I'm Sue Ellen Clayton. Welcome to my channel where we're learning how to read tarot one card at a time. In today's video, we'll be using a 3-card spread to answer the question, how can I stop trying to control my husband? I will be using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot, and there is a link below. This reading was requested by a married woman in her mid-40s whose husband has attention deficit disorder, which is shortened to ADD. The couple were high school sweethearts and married the summer after they graduated from college. He is an engineer and works out of a traditional office. She is a freelance book editor and works from home. The couple do not have any children. For simplicity's sake, I will call the husband Aaron. First, I'll talk a little bit about ADD in case you're not familiar with what it looks like in adults. Aaron was officially diagnosed in his early 30s, and it explained a lot about his lifelong organizational challenges. Aaron took medication for a while that was very effective. Unfortunately, it caused his blood pressure to spike and he had to stop. After Aaron went off medication, the querent did a lot of research about ADD, which she tried to share with her husband. Aaron has not been interested in learning about ADD or tools to help manage it. Over the years, the querent has become increasingly involved in helping Aaron function. However, Aaron isn't receptive to her help and generally ignores and resents her suggestions. Meanwhile, the querent gets frustrated because if Aaron did as she asked, many problems would be avoided and their life would be easier. It's come to the point that the querent realized that she needs to step back and stop trying to manage Aaron's ADD. Her question was, how do I stop trying to control my husband? Before we get started, I wanted to share some of the symptoms of ADD in men. I've linked to an article in the description if you'd like to learn more. This gives you an idea of what the querent experiences living with Aaron. Symptoms include not sitting still, fidgeting and tapping his hands and feet, misplacing or losing important items such as his keys and wallet, being easily sidetracked and leaving projects or tasks incomplete, forgetting daily activities such as appointments or bill payments, making careless mistakes and overlooking essential details, lacking time management and failing to meet deadlines, and having difficulty organizing his tasks and belongings. As you can imagine, this is incredibly frustrating for the querent, and she feels like she spends a good part of her day searching for items that Aaron has lost, reminding him of things that need to be done, or cleaning up a mess when he's forgotten something important. To answer the querent's question, how can I stop trying to control Aaron, I used a 3-card problem, situation, advice spread. For card number 1, problem, the querent drew the 5 of Wands. For card number 2, situation, the querent drew the star reversed. And for card number 3, advice, the querent drew the 10 of Cups. Let's start with my first impression. It's interesting that the first and third cards both show multiple people. However, there is a transformation from fighting to a happy family. So that makes me think that the reading will bring to light things that will help improve the querent's situation. Other than that, I don't have any other observations, so let's look at each card individually. For card number 1, problem, let's look at the core issues behind the querent's decision that she wants to stop trying to control Aaron. The querent drew the 5 of Wands. The core issue is that the querent's suggestions to Aaron are creating a lot of conflict. The couple is constantly arguing. Aaron doesn't want the querent's input, and the querent doesn't want to deal with the problems caused by Aaron's inattentiveness and disorganization. This has been going on for years, probably decades, so I don't see the conflict is going to stop without a change on somebody's part. When you look at this card, you see boys fighting for the sport of it. They don't like they are actually going to hurt anybody. It looks more like a game where everybody has a different position and the argument is energizing and fun. The kids are having fun participating in the game. They're not trying to actually win. I think part of what's happened is that the couple is in this pattern of fighting that isn't going anywhere, although I doubt it's fun for either of them. The querent feels like her comments are causing Aaron to take action, but that's an illusion because even if he pretends to take action, he's really not making any progress. Aaron has no intention of making changes. So the arguments consume a lot of energy, but don't get them anywhere. So how do you get out of a fight if you can't win? The only way I know of is to retreat. It's pretty hard to argue with someone when they don't engage. Since it was the querent who requested the reading and decided that she wants to stop controlling her husband, she's the one who needs to stop fighting and step away. In summary, the problem is the conflict that's created by the querent's suggestions to Aaron. Unfortunately, the only thing she can do to change the situation is to step away. Card number 2, situation, describes the current circumstances, environment, and emotions. The querent drew the star reversed. The first thing we need to do is figure out who the star represents. Is it the querent or is it Aaron? There are 2 ways to do this. One way is to do it intuitively, and I believe the star represents the querent. The other way is to use a pendulum. If you're not familiar with a pendulum, you can see a picture on the screen. It is a weighted object on a string. You can ask the pendulum yes/no questions to determine who the figure on the card represents. I have a whole video on using a pendulum, which I'll link to below. In this case, my pendulum confirmed that the card represented the querent. In the upright position, the star is one of the most hopeful cards in the tarot deck. It indicates an environment of hope and healing and could signify that the couple could find some level of balance and even happiness in their relationship. Unfortunately, the star is in the reversed position. So how does the querent view her relationship with Aaron? She is extremely unhappy and does not see a lot of hope for a happy future. When I look at the upright card, I see the querent pouring water, which represents emotions, out of the jugs. These emotions could represent her hope for the future or perhaps tears of sadness about the future of her marriage. She's been trying so hard, and I don't think she's got anything left to give. Carrying jugs of water is also very hard work. In the upright position, we see the querent doing this hard work alone at night where nobody could see her. The message of the reverse card could be that the querent needs to ask for help. She might also need to stop hiding her current circumstances and let the truth be exposed to the light. She has been protecting Aaron from the consequences of his action, and he's had no reason to create systems, such as checklists, to help him manage his ADD. What would happen if the querent stopped helping him look for his keys and saving the day? Perhaps then he would be motivated to hang up his keys on the hook by the garage instead of throwing them wherever it seems convenient. In the reverse position, we see water flowing back into the jugs. I think this is a message that the querent needs to start looking after her own needs. It's like the saying about how you need to put your oxygen mask on first in a plane before you help others. The querent has been so focused on helping her husband that she has totally depleted herself. So what the querent needs to do in this situation is to shift her energy away from trying to fix Aaron's situation and start taking care of her own needs. You've made it this far in the video, and I wanted to stop and ask for a favor if you're not already a subscriber, and that is to please hit the subscribe button. It's free for you, and it will also help me grow this channel. Plus, it means that you won't miss anything. Thanks so much, and if you're already a subscriber, I truly appreciate your ongoing support. Now let's get back to the video. For card number 3, guidance, we look at additional insight and guidance into how the querent can give up controlling Aaron, and the querent drew the 10 of Cups. The 10 of Cups is often called the Happy Family card. It's a card that shows a couple with their arms around each other with a rainbow of cups representing love above their head. It doesn't get much happier than that. So I think there are a couple of ways we can interpret this card. The first is that if the querent stops trying to offer advice to Aaron, they will be a whole lot happier. There will be a dramatic change from the state of bickering in the 5 of Wands to a state of love. But how does she do that? You can see the couple looking at the rainbow. Rainbows show promise after a storm, and they've definitely had a storm. I think this card means that the querent needs to start focusing on the positives in their relationship. Yes, Aaron sounds difficult to live with, and I don't discount that. However, she's asking for advice on how to give up controlling him, and I think the answer is to remind herself of what Aaron is doing well, rather than just what he is doing wrong. At first, that will be tough because she is in the habit of being annoyed, but notice that the couple is on a stage. She can act like she is in love again, and maybe the feelings will start to follow. Many years ago, I used to watch Dr. Phil until I got smart and decided that I couldn't stand him. But I remember one of the things he said, and that is, you can be right or you can be happy. At this point, Aaron is not going to change. If the querent wants to be happy, she has to make the changes. I think the way that the querent can stop controlling Aaron is to make a decision to stop doing it, knowing that they will both have to live with the consequences. Now, I think there are probably some things that are worth bugging him about. For instance, making sure that he remembers to sign up for health insurance or files his income tax on time. But she could probably let a lot of the daily stuff they fight about go. The querent has to be okay if Aaron loses his keys, is late for work, and gets chewed out by his boss. She has to be willing to ignore a half-done home improvement project, knowing that bugging him won't make it get done any faster. And if he misses a dentist appointment, she can let him call and reschedule, rather than phoning, apologizing profusely, and rescheduling it on his behalf. If he doesn't want to make another appointment, Aaron will have to take responsibility for his rotting teeth. The other thing the querent needs to do is remind herself of Aaron's good points. There was a reason that she fell in love with him 30 years ago in high school. Maybe she can make a list of what these reasons were, as well as other things that Aaron does right. Yes, he misplaces his keys when he comes home at night, but she can also remind herself that his job enables them to afford a car, and he comes directly home from work. He's not out drinking with his colleagues or spending time with other women. Or better yet, she could remind herself that he is a very kind person and is always willing to help out his aging mother or a neighbor in need. And when she's looking at the half-done home improvement projects, she can remind herself of the things that he does do, such as the fact that their lawn is always mown and their gardens look beautiful. I don't think any of this is easy, but she needs to make a decision to start viewing her relationship with Aaron as half full and not half empty. So let's summarize and see if this reading gave the querent any insight into how she could stop controlling her husband. Card number 1 looks at the core issues behind why the querent wants to stop controlling Aaron. And that is that her suggestions are creating a lot of conflict, primarily because, despite all of her wonderful suggestions, Aaron isn't doing as she asks. In card number 2, Situation, it describes the querent's current circumstances and emotions. Currently, she is extremely unhappy with her marriage and does not see a lot of hope for a happy future. Unfortunately, her constant helping has created 2 problems. First of all, she is completely depleted and needs to put some of this effort into taking care of herself. Secondly, because she's always there to help solve problems, Aaron has had no incentive to manage issues associated with his ADD. Card number 3 offers additional insight and guidance into how the querent can give up controlling Aaron. She needs to allow him to take responsibility when things go wrong. It's also important for the querent to focus on Aaron's good points and the positives in her relationship. I hope that this video gave you some ideas that you can apply to your tarot practice. Please leave a comment if you'd like to share what you've learned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.